you know, what do you do in this situation is that if you know there's a conversation that you need to have with individuals in your life, and you're like, but how do I approach that? And it might be literally because it's part of the soul contract that it needs to be said. Now, this is another thing. They also said to me, they just said that joining and in a soul contract is also very similar to like getting married. You sign that contract, or the intention of being with the individual. Now the thing is, it doesn't mean because you're aware of the situation or you've had a ha-ha moment and then you think, well, something needs to be said to the individual, that they're going to be ready to hear it, because they may not. Everyone is at a different place to some degree on their soul level. Now, if you're around people that haven't actually done any soul work, who haven't sort of, you know, either seen a therapist, you know, counselling, or even looked at that the fact they might have an issue going on in their life and haven't done any work on themselves at all, they might be so like unaware the fact that there is a problem and that they're part of the problem. And I can feel this for the individual that's asked me the question. I know what this is about because already they're bringing it up for me. I can feel it, whatever. So what I'm feeling and what they're saying to me is the other person on the receiving end, the other soul, may not be ready. So what do you do? And they're saying, they just said, like the divorce papers, like any contract, anything, you know, even from a phone contract, any agreement, even verbal agreement, it's written in a sense, or it has an energy behind it. Set the intention, set the energy. So you could write, I mean, writing is a really good way of doing this. You can write down, because I actually did sit there as well and did something with this myself. Write down what it is that you would say to the individual if you knew that they were open to receiving this information. Now, what happens by writing? It all has an energy. For every single word that you write down has an energy attached to it. And the energy of how you're feeling about the situation, about the individual, about what the whole scenario, the whole situation that's playing out. Now, it might be that you know in your heart of hearts that you know that that person may not hear this, or it might cause even more problems. I mean, my situation, I told them how I felt. They are not in the same place to receive this information. So for them, they felt very unsettled, very upset at the end of the relationship, and I totally understand that, and I feel for that individual, but I also know in my heart of hearts what I must do. And it sounds like the same thing for you. You've got to do in your heart of hearts what it feels right for you. And anybody that's got a situation, that if you're around family members or partnerships or whatever it is, that you've got to think what it is that you need to do from your heart. So you write this down on a piece of paper, what it is that you possibly would say to them, that you would love to say to them, and then you burn it, you send it off. There's no point in holding on to it. You don't have to hold on to this information at all. The idea is that you burn it and you send it off to the universe and it's dispersed. Now, there's things like with karmic energy and karmic messages. So it's a bit like if you want to send healing to somebody, if they're not ready to receive the healing, they're not going to receive it at all. But when they're ready, they will absorb it. Now, what they show me is it's a bit like having a porous layer around them, that if they're ready to receive healing energy or love or anything else, it will then seep through the pores and they'll receive it. And it's very much also this sort of saying about love and everything else, that unless a person is ready, you cannot receive it. So with this individual that you have in your life, and this is going on for that individual and yourself and other people who've got this going on with family members, all you can do is, from your perspective, is write a letter, put the intention in it, what you would love to say to them as an individual, and always say it with love, not with hatred, because hatred is a powerful and it's toxic as well and dysfunctional. That's not going to help you either. So by writing it down of what you'd want to say to them, so that if they were able to hear it on their ears in this part of who they are right now, that what it is they could take in, that they would hear it and they will receive it. You don't have to worry about it. They will receive the information. So it might be, they're just saying, there might be times where each and every one of you suddenly has a wave of calmness for some reason. You're like, what the hell happened there? or a feeling of someone, you know, somebody might get goosebumps when they've heard an information or something, or goosebumps for no reason at all. And that's normally because sometimes you've received something that you needed to receive. So whether you can see it or not, karmically, it's going to be around you in your energy fields, but it's just about you being able to send it out. Because also what they're saying, it's unhealthy for your heart to hold on to something that is not serving you, that's not making you feel happy. It needs to come out. You need to feel it. You need to be able to express it. If your voice is going to be, I'm doing this with the hand because this is what they're showing me. If your voice is going to be blocked by the other person and you know this and it feels uncomfortable in your throat, even thinking about saying the words to the individual, there is no point in having the disagreements or arguments. It's more about you energetically writing this down and dispersing it energetically wise. Because it also feels, I'm picking this up for some individuals within the group and also those who are going to hear this message, and this is about the time dimensions and the parallel universe and stuff. I know that when this goes out on YouTube, there'll be others that will hear this and I can feel them feeling the same thing. Now, if there is something that you feel that you need to say to an individual and your throat feels contracted, it's most likely it's so painful for you that it's stopping you in your track, and this is then needs to be written down. It will be easier for you to write it down. It feels like whoever hears this information, that if you can't speak and voice your opinion about something, there is a soul contract with that individual. That is one of your signs. That's one of your clues, that you have a soul contract with that individual. And it's up to you now. Are you strong enough to break it? Or are you strong enough, or not or, but are you strong enough to write those words that you would wish that you could say to them and burn it, and then energetically allow it just to unfold? The universe will help you with that. But it's about being brave, even to write it down, about being brave.